Hello tubers and welcome back. Today I want to show, just spending a little time now, prepping your mower for the storage over the winter, will yet to a happier reunion in the spring. First of all, make sure to follow all instructions in your operator's manual. Now here are some tips on what you can do now to make sure your mower will start easily and perform the way it should in the spring. First of all, if it has a battery, this unit behind me does not, you want to remove that battery, clean the terminals off, and store it in a cool, dry place away from water heaters, furnaces, anything that has a pilot light. Next, you want to clean off the grass and the debris and mud that's on the mower. To do this job, we'll need a ratchet, a couple of wrenches. I use a paintbrush, a screwdriver, and some scrapers and a wire brush there. Now, to get started, simply clean off this grass. You can use a power washer, a hose, or whatever your preference is. But I generally just clean off the grass. If it's muddy, I'll use a hose. And then I use an oily rag just to wipe it down because I'm putting it away for the winter. Okay? It's good if you have access to a compressor. It's good to blow this out in here because you want to clean out the grass that may have gotten stuck under the flywheel. Once you clean this grass off, try to get this done as quick as possible for the sake of the video. You want to disconnect the spark plug. And I don't just take the wire out, I actually pull the spark plug out. This is for a couple of reasons. One, we won't have to worry about this starting when we turn the blade. And the other, because it's at the end of the year, I like squirting a couple of drops of oil into the cylinder and turn it by hand. But I keep this mower outside covered, which gives it extremes in temperatures, hot and cold, and any condensation. It'd be nice to have a little extra lubrication in there. Check the spark plug to see if I'm going to be putting a new one in. And while I have this up and about, it's a good time to change the oil and remove and sharpen the blade. Okay, see, this is going to have to be scraped out over here. And I won't spend video time showing the scraping to this, but this is what we have. Now, when you turn the mower on its side, generally it's the carburetor side up, but you do want to check your owner's manual to see which way it tells you to turn it up on your particular mower. Some of them do have it where you should have the carburetor side down. Now, to remove the blade, you can see the rust that's on here and the torque that's on here steadily. You can use a pair of vice grips. They have a special tool to hold it on. In this case, I'm using a block of wood. It's advisable to put on a pair of gloves while doing this. If that blade really slips, the gloves aren't going to help much. But in a minor incident, it's better than nothing. Okay, this happens to be 9/16. See how this goes. Okay. It's always a good sign when it moves the first time around. One more time. Okay. And for those of you that never did this before, I just simply use one wrench against the other for the extra leverage. I have my socket for this also, with a pipe just in case, but I generally find this works a little better. So the spark plug's out, the blade's off, well, will be off. Every unit is different. Pay attention to how yours is in there. This happens to have a wash and these two big washers. You want to put it on the same way it came off. Okay? And now you're able to clean this out with no danger of cutting our hand on the blade or the machine starting by itself. After cleaning this off, you have a couple things you could do. If it's rusty like this, you can sand it down and paint it. It's a good way to use up those half cans of paint you have laying around. Doesn't matter what the color is. The only reason you're painting this is to keep it from the deck from rusting through. And afterwards, you could coat it with something or just leave the paint. If you're not going to paint it, I use a rag with a little bit of oil and I wipe it down. For those of you that don't want to use the oil on the bottom, you can use WD-40 or even some PAM. It'll give you a stick-free surface, at least for 1 or 2 cuttings, but more than important than that, it'll keep it from rusting through the winter. Now, as far as the oil change, this particular unit here, a socket fits into it. In this case, I'm going to put the extension on and loosen it up. You can see that's in there pretty tight also. Okay. Normally, I would scrape this down and do the painting, but again, for the sake of speed and time on the video, I'm just going through the steps here. This will be cleaned off, and I'm not sure if I'm going to paint it this year. From the looks of it, it looks like it might need painting. Up in here is where she'll start rusting out. Oil. Okay. Now when you tip it, it's obvious you just want to make sure that container's in the right position. Wiggle this back a little bit. And we look good. Leave we're in. Okay, we're in. Now, and I forgot to mention earlier, before you tip the machine, you want to make sure the gas is out. I run the gas out of all my machines at the end of the season, whether it's snow blower or lawn mowers. I run the gas out. If you do decide to keep the gas in the tank, you want to use the fuel stabilizer, mix it according to the directions that come on the stabilizer itself, add the fuel to the tank, top the tank off, and run the unit for about 5 minutes. The reason you want to run it after you have that stabilizer in there, you want to make sure that stabilizer is inside the carburetor. It's a good time to check your filter. May or may not have to be changed. I generally change my oil once a season. I don't use the push mower that much. But this over here, when I bought this unit, I bought this used 2 years ago. This is the filter that came with it. I've cleaned it out a few times, and this time it'll be changed. It's past the point of cleaning out. But you can see, even though I clean it out every year, how much grass gets caught up in it.